Today I'm behind the wheel of a brand new 2021 Lincoln Corsair. Now the Corsair is the smallest and newest SUV within Lincoln's luxury lineup. Now, in case you didn't know, the Corsair does share the same platform as a Ford Escape, so in terms of dimensions and overall space, pretty much identical. But on the outside, it definitely looks different, and same goes with the interior. This interior is a lot more luxurious, and it has a lot more features that you just can't find inside a Ford Escape. So, just how good is this brand new Corsair, and how does it drive on the road? Keep watching and find out. Now, before I go for a drive, first, let me show you the outside and also talk about the features you'll find inside this brand new Corsair. Now, starting with the outside, I think this Corsair looks absolutely fantastic. It has a modern, luxurious style and resembles the rest of the SUVs within Lincoln's lineup. Starting with the front end, that grille is definitely recognizable, very similar, if not identical, to the one that you'll find on the Nautilus and also Aviator. On both sides, you'll see the very distinctive and unique full LED headlights, and underneath you do have a strip of LED for your turn signals. This has a good proper stance. You can see the roof does slope down quite a bit, especially toward the tail end. Now this Reserve one does come with 20-inch wheels. They really fill up the wheel wells, and take a look, they have a really unique design. But I do think this Corsair does have the right proportions, as an athletic look, and overall I'm a big fan. This Reserve also has a floating roof. You could see that the pillars are in black, the mirror caps are in black, except the roof is painted white, matching the body color. Now moving to the back, the Corsair does have that pier shape, wide hips, low roof, and of course you have a very big privacy glass, a big spoiler, and you have dual exhaust underneath. And I do like the look of the LED taillights, and I like that strip that goes across the middle. Overall, I think this Corsair is a fantastic looking luxury compact SUV. Now moving inside the trunk, you have a good amount of cargo room. There's no hidden storage, but you do get a full-size tire. There's a 12V outlet on the left side, and you have a couple of switches to fold down the second row. And when you do fold down the second row, you can see that the seats are very flat and maximizes cargo room. And with this Reserve, you do get height adjustable power tailgate. Now moving to the second row, this Corsair Reserve is covered in beautiful leather with contrast stitching, and not only that, this one is equipped with a blue interior, and it definitely stands out. I don't recall reviewing another car ever that had a blue interior. Passengers do get heated seats, also a pair of vents, and plenty of USB ports. And also the seats in the back do recline and slide forward and backwards. As for space, I'm 5'10", and I do have about 3 to 4 inches of legroom and about the same in headroom, so adults can fit in the second row comfortably. Now moving up front, the Corsair really impresses you or wows you with its style, its luxuriousness, its features, and just overall fit and finish and quality. Now starting with the steering wheel, this is a very unique steering wheel. In my opinion, it's actually more advanced than the one you find on the big brother, the Nautilus. You know, you have a leather wrapped steering wheel. It has a nice shape, it has a nice thickness, and it does feel pretty good in your hands. But take a look at the buttons, they've been replaced. Usually with steering wheels, you have a lot of buttons and switches. It gets busy. Not this one inside this Corsair. On the right side, you do have this little toggle, which you can select navigation, your phone, menu, and music. But there is a little button, and this one is to control the optional 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. It's a nice digital gauge cluster. The interface is nice. There's an elegance to it, and of course you can scroll through various things such as your trip computer and also TPMS and various other things. Same thing on the left side, you can control your volume and scrolling, but there's also another button, and this is really unique. If you press it, that's for your adaptive cruise control, and you can see there are buttons underneath that light up. Very, very unique, and I love how if you're not using it, it's just kind of shut off and you just kind of ignore it, right? So it kind of removes some of that clutter from the steering wheel. Also, what's really unique is you have a voice control button that's actually built into the steering wheel. I have not seen that before. And with this Reserve edition, you do get paddle shifters in the rear. Now this one is also equipped with the optional Reveal 14 speaker sound system, which sounds pretty darn good, except I can't really show you guys, but trust me, it does sound good, and you see speakers throughout the cabin. Now besides the Reveal speakers, this Corsair is equipped with power folding mirrors, also 3 settings for memory seats. What's also unique is the seat controls are built in right on the door panel. You normally don't see that outside of Mercedes, but inside this Corsair Corsair, it's right at your fingertips, although you have to get used to it. And this one happens to be equipped with 22-way adjustable seats. 22 ways, you can really adjust it however you want. And this one also is equipped with massage seats for both the driver and passenger. And I have tested it, and it does work. It actually works like massage chairs. It's really, really nice. This one is also equipped with technology package, which means it has a heads-up display. It's very bright, it's in your face. It's probably hard to see with this camera, but trust me, it is a good one. Now, moving to the infotainment screen, this is an 8-inch touchscreen running Sync 3. Unfortunately, it's not running the newest Sync 4 that you find in the bigger brothers, but it does still work very well. You have a couple quick navigating buttons on the bottom, audio, phone navigation, app settings, pretty self-explanatory. Under settings, you do see that you have Wi-Fi. Also, you have over-the-air automatic updates, which is really nice. And this Corsair is very safe. For driver assistant features, you pretty much get everything. Adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, pre-collision assist, blind spot monitoring, cross-traffic alert, rear braking assist, driver alert, and yes, there is a dedicated auto start-stop functionality on and off virtual button. There's no physical button, but you can disable it. Now, underneath the screen, there are 3 buttons. One is for your auto start-stop functionality and also for some of your other driver assistant features. You do also have a dedicated button for your camera system. Now, this one is equipped with a 360 view, so you can see you have a nice view behind you and also a nice view around your Corsair. And you know what? This camera system is better than the one you find on a Nautilus. That was my biggest complaint about a Nautilus. I did not understand why the cameras were so low quality. This one does not have that problem. And lastly, you do have one more button just for active park assist. If you needed to park your Corsair automatically, that's where you go. Now, underneath, you do have a floating shelf. Your shifters, number one, there's large buttons on top, very similar to the bigger brothers. Then you have your control pad or console for your volume, your music, your climate control. Pretty easy to figure out. You have 2 knobs for your volume and tuning. Also, one big one for your fan speed. And you can see you can control the climates on both sides. Also, this Corsair Reserve is equipped with heated steering wheel, ventilated seats, heated seats, all that stuff, and much more. Underneath, you have some space for your things, also 12V outlet and a couple more USB ports. And with this Corsair, you get drive modes. You have Conserve, which is basically eco. Then you have normal. Then you have slippery for slick, icy, and loose surfaces. And finally, deep conditions, deep snow, mud, and sand. Lastly, on top, you do have HomeLink buttons and a giant panoramic sunroof. All right, and behind the wheel, let's see how good this brand new Corsair is and see how it drives. First off, I just want to make a quick note about how Lincolns look. I think they really stand out. I don't think you can confuse any Lincolns on the road for any other brand out there, which is great. But I think Lincoln did such a good job making all their SUVs look similar. It's really hard to tell what's what, especially if you're looking at the front end. You know, when I first approached this, I'm like, okay, this looks almost identical to the Nautilus that I just reviewed a week ago. And it's the same thing with the Aviator. I just saw one drive by. It's really hard to tell what's a Corsair, Nautilus, and Aviator. But that's actually not a bad thing. Most luxury brands are doing that with their smallest SUV, midsize, and it goes larger, right? They want to have that brand recognition, and Lincoln, I think, nailed it. Now, I have tested a Ford Escape before, so I know that it's a roomy, compact SUV. It's the same thing with this Corsair. It's utilizing the same platform, same chassis, so you're getting that same roominess on the inside. Up front, you really can't tell. Besides, it sits a little bit lower to the ground. You really can't tell this isn't a mid-size SUV. The Corsair is actually really wide, so there's plenty of shoulder room. There's plenty of hip room, and you know what? Good amount of headroom too. So it does feel quite spacious up front. Now, in the second row, that's where you'll feel it a little bit. In terms of leg room and headroom, it's a little bit smaller than a Nautilus and way smaller than an Aviator. But you know what? Adults can still fit in the second row comfortably. And children with car seats, I think there's good amount of space back there. Of course, the seats are adjustable. And what I like is the cargo room. There's actually a good amount of cargo room inside the trunk, and if you fold down the second row, it's a good amount. So overall, the size of this Corsair, I think for most families that's looking for a compact or mid-size SUV, I would say take a look at the Corsair. Now, Lincoln did a fantastic job insulating this Corsair, just like the Nautilus that I reviewed not too long ago. It is extremely quiet inside. In fact, the only thing I hear are the ventilated seats behind me. It is that quiet. I really hear nothing from the outside. Today is actually a really windy day. It's very well insulated. I hear nothing from the engine either. No exhaust note. There is nothing from the tires. I mean, it is very quiet inside. Now, one thing I'm surprised by this Corsair that's not a good thing are these front seats. I told you guys how they're 22-way adjustable, right? So in theory, you should be able to adjust it however you want, and you could get that comfortable or comfort zone. And I just don't get that. I've adjusted these seats numerous times, and there's just places where it just sticks out, bulges out, and it's just not very comfortable, especially the bottom cushion. The bottom cushion feels very hard to me, like you're sitting on hard surface rather than soft leather, and you can't adjust how hard it is or how soft it feels. So these seats are a little disappointing, especially in a luxury SUV like this. You know, sometimes you just want a very comfortable and smooth ride, and for the most part, you get it. Except with these seats, I don't know what's going on. Now, besides the seats, the suspension is very comfortable and very nice. I'm driving around right now, these local roads, a lot of imperfections, and you know what? The suspension is soaking them up just fine. And keep in mind, this Corsair is equipped with 20-inch wheels, which means the sidewalls on the tires are much thinner, but it still feels very comfortable around town. This Corsair also feels controlled. I don't feel too much body roll. So it does have a good feel to it, and it's very comfortable. And also the steering complements the suspension really nicely. It has a good weight to it. Doesn't feel very artificial, which is hard these days. So it has a good weight, good control, good feel, and the steering wheel itself feels fantastic. Now, I kind of told you about the heads-up display earlier. Too bad I can't really show it well, but this heads-up display is really nice. Very wide, very bright, and of course you see the essentials. The speed limit, how fast you're going also gives you a clock. Temperature, if you're making a turn signal, even shows up. You know, things that are your blind spot, your safety systems, they show up. Your adaptive cruise control shows up. So there's a lot of things that show up. It's a nice system. Okay, so I just tested acceleration, had a bit of a straightaway. Overall, it's not bad, but I thought it would be a little bit quicker. So with the Corsair, you have 3 engine options. You have the base 2 liters of turbocharged 4-cylinder, producing about 250 horsepower. And then you have the optional 2.3 liter turbo 4-cylinder, and you're getting about 280 horsepower with 310 pound-feet of torque. Now, the thing is, the optional engine, which this Corsair is equipped with, isn't a whole lot quicker than the base engine. In fact, 0 to 60 for the base engine is 6.1, and this one is 6. So you really don't notice any difference, and towing is the same. So I kind of expected more from this optional engine. And if you guys are looking for maximum fuel economy, there is a hybrid setup, but that's in the upper trim only. You can't get that with any other trims. In my opinion, I think this interior for the Corsair may be the best among the luxury compact segment. I have reviewed the GLC, the Q3, the RDX, you know, the NX. I reviewed them all, even the Volvo XC40, although they're nice, but I would say this is among the best, if not the best. I think Lincoln did a very good job with this interior. I think the only thing that would make it better is a larger screen. The optional 13-inch screen on the Nautilus with the Sync 4 system was a fantastic setup. This one is just okay. I think this 8-inch looks a little bit small. If this was upgraded to say a 10-inch or that 13-inch, that would really make a big difference. But besides that, I mean, everything else is really designed well. You know, everything's at your fingertips. The quality, the fit and finish, everything, the surface, everything you could touch is very, very nice. Okay, as I'm coming to a stop, the brake pedal feels a little stiff and the brakes come on a little bit quicker than most of the cars I've reviewed. So you do have to get used to it. So as soon as you tap on a little bit, you feel that braking come on really strong, and the pedal does feel a little bit stiffer. Overall, I think Lincoln did a really good job with this Corsair. I love the outside. I think the exterior looks stunning, among the best in this class, and same with the interior. This interior really wows you and really impresses you, and I do think this is the best interior for this class. And also in terms of the features, you get plenty of it. You get this heads-up display, also this nice reveal audio system, and of course you get this digital gauge cluster, panoramic sunroof, you get massage chairs, you know, ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. Anything you can think of, you pretty much get inside a Corsair. And this Corsair drives pretty well too. The suspension, I think, does a good job. You know, the steering has a good feel. The brakes, the accelerator, they all have a natural feel. And the engine isn't too shabby. I mean, both engines are turbocharged, at least the gas power ones. And you get plenty of thrust because of the turbo, and it does provide a lively drive. I think the only thing holding back this Corsair, honestly, are these seats. And I'm really surprised by that. You know, in the Nautilus that I just tested, I thought the seats were fantastic and they just fit really well right away. The seats inside this Nautilus, I just don't get that same feeling. And it just feels hard to me. It feels like sports seats, and it doesn't matter how I adjust it, it just doesn't feel right. It could be just my body type. It may be different for you. So I would definitely check it out for yourself and see how it is. So next up, let me tell you more about the trim levels and pricing, and give you a final rundown on the good and bad to this brand new Lincoln Corsair. As for the 2021 Corsair, there are 3 trim levels. The standard starts a tad above $36,000, while the reserve, which is the one I drove today, starts a tad above $43,000. The top trim level, the Grand Touring, is the only available trim as a hybrid. The price jumps up significantly to over $50,000. To conclude, the brand new Lincoln Corsair is a fantastic luxury compact SUV. The outside is very distinctive and stylish, and so is the interior cabin. In fact, I would argue the cabin is the best in this segment. The Corsair provides a quiet and comfortable drive, great visibility, and tons of features. There are also plenty of USB ports, the size is just right for most families, and the engine provides plenty of passing power. The bad includes the seats, which somehow just doesn't adjust right for me. The very minor differences between the 2 gas-powered engines, and the hybrid is only available on the upper and more expensive trim. Overall, I'm giving the brand new 2021 Lincoln Corsair Reserve a score of 97. To see where it ranks among its peers, check out driversonlyrankings.com. Thanks for watching, hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Also, check out these other 2 reviews.